On everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're looking at the prize picks plays for Tuesday. We have a much bigger slate, so a lot more options for us to pick from than yesterday. We wasn't able to come through with the picks yesterday. Only got Carrasco doubled his total. We needed 5, he got 10, but Robbie Ray couldn't get the job done, and Stripling missed by 1 strikeout. But let's go ahead and get started. As always, if you enjoyed the videos, appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. It's a good day to bounce back today. Got 3 props that I like. We'll share with you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. If you haven't signed up on Prizepicks, use my code PROCESS and they'll match your first deposit up to $100. First prop I'm going to give you guys is a nerfy. And if we look at the totals today, we have some games with pretty high totals. You have not too high, but 8 in the Cleveland game. We have looking at about 10 plus in the Reds game, almost 10, almost 9 in the Miami game. But there's one game, the Pirates game, is very low, and you got 2 pretty good pitchers. You got 2 lefties going at it here. Skubal's been the ace for the Tigers. Quintana has pitched well for the Pirates this year. He has like a 2.3 ERA so far. Then you have a pretty high total here. Pretty low total, but the Rays, Dakota Hudson doesn't strike people out, and the Rays definitely can put up some runs. Don't really want to take a nerfy in the Braves game, and then potentially you could look to this game, but you gotta never fun to take a nerfy when you have all this power on the Yankees side. And Sands just doesn't have much experience right now, so he's probably going to get hit a little bit. And then you have Verlander, who looks solid in terms of holding his potential of holding the Mariners scoreless in the first, but not sure about Chris Flexen. And then you got Suarez is good for the Phillies, but Jason Alexander just got called up. He's probably dealing with some nerves. Then we got the Blue Jays, probably going to put up a lot of runs today. You got a decent high total in the White Sox game. The only other low-scoring potential game would be the Yu Darvish and Taijuan Walker, and both pitchers have struggled with the strikeouts. So instead, I'm going to go ahead and put in the Pirates one. Now this one could get taken off the board pretty quickly if a lot of people start to bet it, which I do think is a very good call. If we look at the just the potential nerfies in terms of all the games on the slate, this one is sitting pretty high at 72%. Nerfy record is 9-1. We got Quintana's been solid with 8-2, and Skubal's done his job as well. So that one is one of the highest ones on the slate. You also have Manoah and Brad Keller up there as well at 72, but not really that confident in Brad Keller. And then you have Marquez and Rodon. Rodon's been a little bit worse recently, and Marquez has struggled this year, but I do like one of his props. But I definitely would take the Pirates one the best. Not only does it have one of the highest odds of hitting, but it also, you just have 2 very poor offenses. If you look at the runs scored in the first inning, you have the Tigers are second to last, almost dead last by 0.01 runs, but they're 29th in averaging just 0.22 runs in the first. And then you have the Pirates not too far away at 0.37. They're the 7th lowest scoring team in the first inning. So I think it is a pretty good one to target. If you look at the home, Pirates also struggle at home. On the road, Detroit was only at 0.04 runs, so they might have scored like 1 or 2 runs in the first inning on the road all season. So that's just another reason why I do want to plug in that nerfy. And then we're going to go ahead and look at some strikeout props, which is the one that I usually like to focus on. Sometimes I like to look at the pitching outs, but now that they have a lot of these guys at like 18.5 or 17.5 or 16.5, if they're like right at 18 and guys typically go 6 plus, then it's easier to take the over. But 18.5, it's a little bit more on the fence for me. But there are some strikeout props that I want to target. The first one is a young pitcher from Miami. We know the Marlins always have these young flamethrowers that they're bringing up, and I'm looking to take the over 4.5 Ks on Edward Cabrera. He's going up against the Washington Nationals, and they're not great at striking out a lot, but he pitched his in this season in his lone start. He pitched in Coors Field. He got 9 strikeouts, which is always very difficult to get strikeouts in Coors Field, and it was just a very, very good performance from him. He did give you some walks, but he only gave it 1 hit in 6 innings. And looking at this matchup, the Nats are not very strikeout prone against righties. They only strike out about 20.6% of the time. But Cabrera does have good strikeout stuff. He has pitched in the past before, but just not consistently. This year in his start, he got a 36% K rate. The xFIP is high because he did give up a good amount of walks. But if we look at this a little bit of his starts last season, he's still striking out Both sides almost 25%, 24.7 to lefties, 26.5 to righties. And looking at the matchup here, you have some strikeout options that we can look to that will strike out on the Nats side, like Lane Thomas. Hernandez strikes out a little bit. The other Hernandez can strike out, Yadiel. And then, at the bottom of the order, Franco's actually done a pretty good job of not striking out too much this year. But he's also can strike out. Cruz can still strike out. And in the minor leagues, he had 32 strikeouts in 23 innings before he got called up. The ERA was somewhat high at like a little bit over 4, maybe 4.6. So not the lowest in terms of AAA numbers, but he pitched well enough in Coors Field that I have confidence that he can probably get me at least 5 strikeouts here. And they're pitching in Miami, so it is going to probably be a little bit less hitter-friendly ballpark than what Washington is used to. And if we look at the props here, he has had a couple of at-bats or a couple of matchups against these Nationals, just probably based on last year. He has some strikeout success against Lane Thomas. He struck out Cruz 2 out of 3 times, and then struck out a couple of other guys that aren't probably going to be in the lineup. And then the last nerfy that I like, or the last strikeout prop that I want to consider, there's some other ones that we can look to, like Scooble at 5.5 looks solid. Irvin has a difficult matchup against the Braves, but he's hit this like 70% of the time. Most of the time, it's just been by the hook. He's gotten 4 strikeouts. But we know Atlanta does have some heavy K hitters in the lineup. They do have a lot of power as well. It's just a matter of Irving's able to navigate that lineup. He has done a good job this year of limiting a lot of damage. Kopech is pretty low at only 4.5, just counting on 5 strikeouts for him. He might not go as deep into the game as some other pitchers, but I do like that one a bit if you're looking for more. Manoah at 5.5 against KC, that one also looks solid. There's a lot of strikeouts in the middle of that lineup. But I'm going with Marquez here at only 4.5 Ks. Hopefully we can count on 5 Ks from Cabrera and Marquez. Look at the numbers for Marquez. He typically has hit this easily. In his last 10 starts, he's hit this 7 times with a couple starts over 7. He's had 4 starts with just 5, but he hasn't pitched that well recently. Hoping to turn it around a little bit. Got you 5 strikeouts last time against Miami. Now he's going into a nice pitcher-friendly ballpark. He's used to pitching in Coors a lot, where he's always getting hit around. This year he's been hit pretty hard on the road as well, but typically, if you look back at his career numbers, pitching away from Coors and looking at every pitcher that usually pitches in Coors, they always typically tend to do better. Outside of Coors and way better. So overall, like 7 out of 10, this would typically be like a minus 233 prop. His last 5, he's cleared it pretty easily, except for that one start against Washington, but 7 Ks against the Diamondbacks, 7 Ks against the Mets. And this matchup, he has had a lot of experience just because in the same division. So we have faced this team a lot, especially the hitters that have been there a while, or like Jock Peterson, who's been in the same division for a while. But he does have good strikeout success against Brandon Crawford. He struck out Peterson a little bit under 20% of the time. Has some strikeout success against Yastrzemski, 4 Ks and 14 at-bats. And, the catcher strikes out a lot for them. So if we look over at Plate IQ and see if we can kind of see the most strikeout-prone hitters on the team, it's going to be Jock Peterson, 23%, Longoria at 26%. Just doesn't have the bat speed anymore. There are some lefties in the lineup, which isn't the best deal for Marquez. This year it's been pretty much the same in striking out righties and lefties, but history tells us that Marquez is a little bit better at striking out righties, but this year it's been pretty much the same, but at least the power is a little bit less to lefties. So I'm going to go with Marquez to get me 5 Ks, and also, we can look to, he's faced this team a lot, just because they played each other a lot. So if we look at the matchups against San Francisco, he's had, I think he's hit this 3 out of the 4 starts in San Francisco against San Francisco last season with a 6, 7, 5, and a 1 strikeout game. So it's pretty much what I got for you guys on Prize Picks today. If you have any other questions or any other props you want to consider, you can put them down below in the comments or tell me on Twitter. But we're taking the nerfy in the Pirates-Tigers game. We're taking the over Ks on Edward Cabrera and the over Ks on Marquez. So best of luck today. I'll probably maybe have a DFS video out later this afternoon, but wanted to get this one out before they might take the Pirates nerfy off the board. Best of luck today, and I'll see you all next time.